Hello everyone, I am Renown Zero and I am back from vacation. This little mini vacation that I did post about in my community tab. But I do want to bring everyone up to speed on anything Rippaverse related. I do know there's some stuff that happened Saturday night during Flashcast. I need to go through some footage and see what I can pull out of that and see if I can make a video on that. But for right now, we're just going to go through the Rippaverse Goalposts Twitter account and go through the timeline here and give some updates on things that people have been saying about the Rippaverse, and then I will be doing another video afterwards talking about the Transformers Pride stuff that they put out, that I think Hasbro put out. But we'll start here with this guy, Agrimalia, who was one of Eric July's detractors and someone who had something to say about ISOM number 1. He was a writer for CBR, but he did actually defend Eric in this sense. Much respect for that, where he says, TW, racism. I'm no fan of Eric July, but the racism being directed towards him is horrific, and I don't know who this person is, but their tweets are awful. I don't care who you are fighting. The moment you post racist crap, you speak volumes by your ugly bigotries. So, of course, he got some backlash for essentially defending Eric July, of course, which is weird because why would you defend anything that's obviously racist? There's a high probability that Eric himself made and spread those on their sock accounts. This weird idea that Eric really has any time for sock accounts considering he's working on a universe is quite laughable. Don't feed into this. He isn't a victim and constantly uses racism and phobias, etc. to target groups. You don't need to jump to his defense on this. And no, he doesn't do any of those things. He's not scared of gay people. He's not scared of trans people. These are BS terms that people on the internet decide to make up and don't even use them properly. It's possible that it is, but I have standards. I will criticize what I think is wrong regardless of who says it. So your quote standards is jumping to the defense of someone who spent weeks calling trans and gay people groomers or questionable memes that we have no idea where they actually came from. Good to know. Keep fighting for the bigots. No, the memes that he was the people that he was calling groomers were actual groomers. People who were trying to teach children about sexual identity and gender identity and trying to confuse young children and make them essentially sponge this garbage information that they shouldn't be learning. I do apologize for the smoke detector going off. Still trying to get that fixed. To which Ant replies, my standards are fighting awful people. July has spent years directing those exact insults towards me, but I am not going to tolerate blatant racism. I'm not defending July. He sucks. You didn't need to say anything about it. He has targeted gay people and called them predators. Seemingly the ones who act like predators, where he's shown evidence to back up his claims. A few memes aren't doing anything to him. I am someone he's targeted multiple times. I am someone whose sexuality is attacked. I don't tolerate bigotry, period. If I see it, I will criticize it. Just because it's being directed towards someone I dislike doesn't mean I can or will turn a blind eye to it. Again, I believe that deserves a little bit of respect. Don't care really. He's a garbage person and he doesn't need the help of the people he has attacked over a couple of stupid memes that seem to be connected to him. So it's okay to do it, to be bigoted, as you would say, towards someone you dislike for obviously no reason besides making a comic company that was successful that people are jealous that he made. But I digress. Weaponized racism is still racism, something I don't condone at all. Not to mention, fighting amongst ourselves is exactly what terrible people like him want. And Eric actually doesn't give a shit. The only thing he really cares about is you stay away from children, stop grooming children, stop trying to teach children sexual things that they should not be learning in school. It's a very simple concept. I don't understand why it's such a hard thing to understand that kids should be off limits from any of this weirdo shit. So we're supposed to be okay with jumping in the line of fire for people who oppress us. He's not oppressing you. Eric July is in no way, shape, or form oppressing you in any way. So weird. Looks at first image and screen cap. Yup. Look, we can criticize Eric July for being a grifter, something he's not, and a hack without going into racism, something he's not. Exactly. Using racist garbage only gives him ammunition to fire back at those criticizing him. The best way is to fight back to make sure that you don't buy his comics. If they don't make money, he'll be a total failure. Well, it's going to be hard to do that when his audience is pretty smart and doesn't give a shit about what the hell you guys are talking about. Y'all are soft as hell. And Eric July is going to continue to be successful because he's essentially selling a product that people want. So people are going to buy it, regardless of what political standing they have. He's not defending July. Racism against someone you don't like is still racism. It's never okay. That's the exact point that the man is making. Everyone standing should be calling out bigotry no matter what. Just because Eric July is an asshole, which he's not, you're just butthurt over the way he says things, or some things he says that are really not that big of a deal. That doesn't mean that suddenly morality shifts. Making memes about who July is as an asshole online is one thing, but racism is bad, be it from July or towards July. So at least some type of common sense still exists in the world. So we're going to move on here to actually Laza, this little furry, who says, I love that Eric July fans are trying to pin this on leftists critical of him, yet his follow list shows them following valid L's, blacks posting L's, and Christian accounts against LGBT people, and has retweeted Andy No and Stone Tossed. Yeah, I don't think this guy's a leftist. So, I don't really understand this one too much. I'm guessing the Christian accounts are the gays against groomers. It might be that one, or even the libs of TikTok. That could be the accounts that this person is talking about. But we also have, of course, the famous Eric July, the token black guy of the Blaze. You gotta wonder when the Blaze will inevitably fire this whiny ass hack. We know it will happen, it's only a matter of when. To which Chloe Handler responds, time will tell, but he will eventually outgrow his usefulness. So this is one of Eric July's detractors that the Rippaverse Goalposts account actually talks about in the video. I will leave a link to it in the description. Please go watch it. It's a great video. I give it a year at best. He's lazier than other grifters. Yeah, he's completely lazy when he's working in his warehouse, writing a book, getting the contracts together, getting the other contracts together for the warehouse, the contractors for the book, getting the staff going for the warehouse. Yeah, he's totally lazy. And actually working in the warehouse himself 12 plus hours. Yeah, totally lazy. And of course, they say the word grifter, which means nothing because it really just means someone you dislike who is more successful than you. And we have another guy, this guy named Def Noodles, who made an entire live stream that barely got anybody to watch because no one actually gives a shit about this guy, clearly, even though he has 526,000 subscribers. We actually have a clip of Dick Masterson saying a bunch of stuff, some of it half true, which Eric clarified in the live stream. So we're gonna go ahead and listen to this clip. Gotta turn on the audio here.
He's getting in this fight with this guy called Eric July, who's like a conservative firebrand,
So right off the rip, you're already lying because Eric July is not a conservative. It's literally in his Twitter account saying he's an anarcho-capitalist and that he's a libertarian. Now he's referring to Vito, who is indeed a pedo. We call him Pedo Vito because he's a piece of shit, and he loves the movie Cuties. He's all about that movie Cuties. You know about that movie. You remember.
Making his first comic, and it sold like $3.5 million.
It sold $3.7 million. Again, basic information that you can find by simply looking for it. You can get this information. I know it's a little bit of a nitpick, but come on. You've already been known for lying on your shitty criticisms about the book, and now you're just lying about basic information. We know that you've said, according to the Flashcast live stream that happened on this past Saturday, that basically Vito is jealous that he can't make as much money as Eric July.
Right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
And Vito's all jealous of that, so he's like, he doesn't deserve it because it's just.
Oh, here. Actually, it's here.
first comic, like it's just like the culture war.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and I agree with it.
It's not the culture war. It's mainly people who are interested in comics and don't want to read garbage Marvel comics that push social and political issues to the forefront rather than telling a good story and having good characters. It's all about gay, social justice nonsense. And Eric July provided an alternative to that garbage that Marvel and DC are putting out, and people wanted to support something outside the mainstream. And Eric had to put in the work to build that audience so that people would actually buy the product, and that's what happened.
It like artistically,
Yeah.
but I also think like, well, you know, people want to spend money on the culture war. I
Yeah.
think it's stupid, but
No, people want to spend money on good products. They don't want to spend money on garbage products.
it's their fucking money.
Yeah.
Like if you can give somebody $35 and say like, I'm doing something politically, like good for you.
No, they're giving $35 because they want entertainment. They want to be entertained. Not, I'm doing something politically. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of apolitical people who bought ISOM #1.
There's a reason why the leftist tiers mugs sell, because there's a market for it.
Yeah. So I was on a stream and people were making fun of Vito for his jealousy, and they're like, well, why do you think?
Yeah, because Vito is jealous. That's why he's constantly trying to gain attention from his senpai Eric July all the time.
He's acting like this. I'm like, well, yeah, this is jealousy, and also, I mean, the comic probably sucks.
Yeah.
That's actually not what Dick Masterson said. You can check out my previous videos of what Dick Masterson actually said, but I'm pretty sure, if I might be paraphrasing, he actually said, no, the comic sucks, even though I didn't read it, so I couldn't really tell you my opinion if it sucks. And again, you can have an opinion whether or not the book sucks or the book is great. And this is what people fail to realize that are criticizing the book. They fail to realize that you can have an opinion that's not the same as somebody else. One person can say the book sucks, and the next person can say the book's great. It's not a factually objective statement to say that ISOM sucks or ISOM is great. It's all opinionated based. And that's what people on online, fail to realize, including people like Dick Masterson and his fans and other people on the internet.
And they're like, well, how could you say that?
They got pissed off at you for
Yeah.
saying that.
I'm like, well, because it's out and nobody's saying it's good.
Well, they said, how could you say that? Because you blatantly said the book sucks even though you never read it. And then you went on and proceeded to get a pirated PDF in order to read it. And then when you made criticisms about it, you made a bunch of criticisms that were things that were in the book or blatantly incorrect.
Good. So
You can go on YouTube and find good reviews. I'm sorry that you didn't take the time to actually look for said good reviews. You just think no one's talking about it, yet there are reviews, I'm sure, all over YouTube, including mine. I have a review of ISOM 1 where I praise the book.
probably, and it's his first one. It's hard to write a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to write a story. What a great excuse.
Probably sucks. So I read it and then gave those studio notes. Like,
You read a pirated version because you're a brokey, even though you have this book you have for sale and that people are buying, yet somehow you're such a brokey you can't spend $35 to actually get a legitimate copy to read the book and critique it.
and it does suck.
Yeah.
And that's your opinion.
I gave notes on what's wrong with the story and how it could be improved, and
some of the stuff you said was already in the book because clearly you didn't read it very well because your comprehension's pretty fucking terrible.
the guy Eric July got those and like is having a 5-day meltdown.
It's not a meltdown, it's explaining your terrible critiques and monetizing a hater and making money off your dumbass. That's what's actually happening.
Down
On Twitter.
Yes, and a 3-hour live stream about what a shithead. Like, he won't refer to me by name, but he read all of my notes, which are good. Like, I tried hard.
Yeah.
You didn't try very hard because, again, you said a bunch of stuff, suggestions, as you call them, that were already in the book. So clearly you didn't try hard enough.
Do them properly. He's like this. He called me the N-word.
What?
He says,
What?
yeah, he's having a meltdown. He's a big black guy, right? So he called me a hoe-ass N. A hoe, not a hole. A hoe-ass N-word.
Yeah.
Yes, he called you that, and he clarified it in a follow-up live stream, saying, yes, you are that because you blatantly made shit up. And he said it, that you are a hoe-ass bitch for that. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
And then I
well,
need
that
to...
makes more sense. I thought he was white, and then I was like, why the fuck is he
No,
calling
it's not
Dick
okay
white?
for a black...
It's actually, again, my opinion is you should be able to say whatever words you want, regardless of skin color.
guy to call me the N-word.
Doesn't mean you're going to catch me saying any type of slurs ever.
If I can't,
Just to make that clear.
okay? So, I'm not cool with it.
So wait.
It's their word if they're calling each other that. That doesn't mean they can call me the N-word. And then he said that I should pull up on him, and I'm like, dude, I just...
He literally never said that. Anyone who actually watches Eric July's content could tell you that that's a blatant lie. Not once has he ever said that.
like reviewed your fucking first comic that you...
But yeah, now that we're past that, we'll just do this clip here and then maybe one or two other screenshots.
Do a whole show just on the last week.
The biggest
of
problem
just
with
like,
last week.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Eric obsessively tweeting to every single person that follows us.
I have never seen
I don't think he's doing that at all.
someone take
It's basically Vito making shit up.
criticism this badly. Not even like that scene where Hitler's freaking out. shit, right?
I mean, the smart thing to do would have been to go, well, he has some criticisms, and maybe
Yeah,
there's
he's
some
clearly
fair ones in
had
there.
more experience than me. I mean, obvious.
No, they weren't really criticisms. They were outright lies on majority of the stuff that you wrote. But of course, you're going to double down on it because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Like his notes are structured like he's gotten them a lot.
The honest thing to say is to go, well, I feel proud of it as my first try. People are excited about the character, and I'm looking forward to what we
He literally says that all the time, Vito. You're just a fat bitch that doesn't understand what Eric July says, or even watches what Eric July says.
do next. I think you can only get.
Heartstrings.
I think you can only
Yeah.
get better from here. But the only
Because I'm the worst, meanest person on earth.
he's really
Because I am.
Yeah.
I am mean.
No, you're just a pussy. It's just people like you and other haters of Eric July can't handle someone who's rough around the edges and can talk back to the person and call them out on their bullshit and their outright lies.
And my heart
Sure.
is small.
yeah.
You can't even
He
see
should have
it.
rose above it. Yeah.
Yes, that guy's fucking mean,
Ooh,
and I
mean
tried
Mr.
my best.
Masterson is just needling this hardworking black man. But
I know what I'm talking about.
well,
Eric July actually does know what he's talking about. You don't. Your reading comprehension is like negative. It's like the negative. You can't comprehend at all.
I hate to say it, but certain other comic professionals have come to me in private and went, I thought Dick's critique was fair. I don't think he was.
Of course, comic pros are gonna say that they don't know shit about comics, about as much as you do, Vito.
I gave you notes.
I mean, it is a comedy podcast. We're going to dunk on the guy a little bit because it's funny.
You know, you're gonna dunk on the guy a little bit because you're a fucking ankle biter who can't see as much success as Eric has. That's why you're gonna dunk on him, because you can't see the level of success he has.
But ultimately, the notes hold up, and you did give me notes.
I
The notes don't hold up.
was restrained.
You were very restrained.
Oh, I do not like bad art.
Dude, you could have.
If you didn't like bad art, you wouldn't like Vito's art, because his art is terrible.
You could have said a lot more. I think everything was pretty fair. What you put out there.
Thanks.
The fans, the Ice Hump fans, do not agree. They think they have accused, and here's what's driving me nuts: is they're saying that you're jealous of Eric on my behalf. That you're mad that my comic book isn't making enough money.
It's already a success.
And first of all, I'm very happy with the.
doesn't show the receipts, by the way. He just blatantly saying a bunch of bullshit. Like, again, you're saying a bunch of stuff and you're not showing any receipts at all. At all. Where are these so-called fans saying this stuff? Where are the receipts?
The amount of money we've raised,
You're
it's
not
pretty
supposed
good.
to make $3 million on your first.
Yeah, it's not.
So the jealousy comes out. You're mad that Eric July made over $3 million, $3.7 million on a first comic, and that's something you failed to make. So the jealousy just pours right out of you, Vito. Pours right out of you.
Comics don't normally make millions of
Like if
dollars.
you're like a super industry.
Cyberfrog made millions of dollars. What's your point? Berserker made millions of dollars, or made 1.3 or somewhere in between 1.3 and 1.8, I think. Like, what are you talking about? Have you not been paying attention at all to like the top selling indie comics lately?
Yeah, but if you're
Combined of Earthworm Jim 1 and 2 made over $1 million.
like you or like
It's my first time out the gate. I got a little fun project, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. And everyone's going, you're just jealous you didn't make $3 million. I'm like,
Vito, you are jealous, bro. It oozes off of you like sweat on your fat. It oozes off your body.
making $3 million from a comic is kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous because you didn't do it. Like, the jealousy just oozes off of you. It really does. It absolutely does. So we got actual Fandom making his weirdo memes again because they got Chuck Dixon to do Alpha Core #1. Of course, he makes this entire meme of, Rippaverse, written by a guy who wrote a literal QAnon comic book published by a literal white nationalist. I don't think Chuck Dixon, or the writer of this comic, is a white nationalist. Albacore, like, dude, you have a weird obsession with Eric July. It's very weird. You're doing exactly, like, you can see it over here. This man did the rainbow letters like a business does for Pride Month. Like a goddamn weirdo. And then he'll get rid of it after June is over because he doesn't really believe in this bullshit he's spewing. So, it's like, my god. In our last two sections of tweets, when Yaira #1 is born, the Ripper fans can call everyone misogynist. Lol, times must be tough since their last movie flopped. She's referring to the Saska sisters. I feel like they missed the perfect opportunity for making horror comics intense and extreme, change the landscape, and new wave of horror comics, but they chose cape shit. It doesn't make sense. Well, it's going to be like a horror style comic if you do anything about what you're talking about. Fits the company. When the book is boring, the Ripper fans can call everyone misogynist. I don't think intelligent people call everything misogynist. I think retards do that. Mainly the left. Isom's growth isn't measured by a third party. We have no idea how successful it is. He's shown it on a video. We have no idea how successful it is. We have to take its creator at their word. Yeah, because he showed the evidence. He showed the back end of his website. Can you name a single comic with verifiable results that made more than $3 million? Yeah, Isom #1. Literally, Isom #1 is that comic that has made more than $3 million. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, these people, and then of course the classic Isom is a self-insert. The more I think about it, the more character of Isom is actually pretty much the equivalent of 2022 nosy white woman. This is coming from Matt Jarbo. There's even a part in the comic where the main character basically says, I want to speak to your manager because he was disrespected. Isom is a Karen. No, he wants to talk to Darren Fontano because he's looking for Jasmine. You tard. His mission is to track down a missing girl, Jasmine, which he attempts to disregard multiple times because he's disrespected and talked down to. Wrong. Disastrously wrong. You didn't read the book. You are making it up. It's really funny how much of a self-insert his character is. He's absolutely not. They don't look the same. They don't act the same. They don't live in the same area. Eric July literally wrote himself as the main character, which is the same trash goalpost that's been going around forever. That Isom is a self-insert. And these are the type of claims that people make when they got literally nothing going on, especially coming from someone like Matt Jarbo. Got people just making up bullshit because they haven't seen the level of success that Eric has seen, and wonder why they're not seeing the success yet. You're going after successful creators and talking a bunch of shit rather than asking them how they got to be as successful as they are, how they got this comic book to be successful. You would think to nitpick their brain so you can figure out how they did it. But of course, these people don't have any brains. They have room temperature IQs, and all they can do is be a bunch of lolcows and trolls who think they know better. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit that like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Do not interact with anyone that I've shown you here. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. We'll have a conversation in the comments. Subscribe for more content. Click on the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all that we get notifications anytime I post a new video. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.